Willie D Live.
Let's get into this story of this mother whose son threw a big old rock through the windshield of her car. 3 times he threw the rock while she had her other kids in the car. This kid looked to be about 15, 16 years old. I'm not sure how old he is. But the youngster was taken by Child Protective Services. He ends up in a foster home, and the foster home kid ends up putting hands on him. And so the mother decides to raise funds for legal fees and things of that nature to try to get the boy out of the system. I want you to hear what she had to say. This is the fundraiser. It's on GoFundMe. She so far raised $709 out of her $2,400 goal. Okay, my name is Shakila. I am a mother fighting for her son. For the past 3 years, my family has been involved with the Oklahoma City DHS system. What was supposed to be support and protection has instead caused ongoing harm to my family and, most importantly, to my child. My son is currently in foster care. Recently, he was severely beaten by another foster child under DHS supervision. This should never happen. There should have been proper supervision in place to prevent something so traumatic and life-altering. Instead, my child was hurt in a system that was meant to keep him safe. As his mother, I am devastated and heartbroken. I have watched my son suffer emotionally and physically while being kept by the one place, being kept from the one place he has always been safest, which is home. The longer he remains in the system, the more damage is being done to his well-being. I am creating this GoFundMe to help obtain legal representation and professional support to navigate reunification with my son. The DHS system in Oklahoma City has made it extremely difficult to reunify and regain custody, even when it is clear that my son is best cared for within his family and not in foster care. Our goal is to return to our hometown, Minnesota, where we have family support, stability, and resources that promote healing and safety. Unfortunately, DHS has placed barriers in the way of reunification and relocation despite the clear benefits for my son. The funds raised will go towards legal court fees, related expenses, advocacy, and reunification support so I can fight for my son properly and ensure his voice and safety are no longer ignored. No child should be harmed while in foster care. No parent should have to beg a system to do what is right. My son deserves protection, healing, and the chance to come home. Any donation, share, or prayer is deeply appreciated. Thank you for helping us fight for reunification, justice, and a future where my son is safe, loved, and home where he belongs. Let me tell you something, fam. So this chick also put out a post on social media where she talked about people not having an opinion. You know, she was like asking for money, and then she said, and I don't need your opinions. Save your opinions. Save your opinions. Homie, don't think so. I got an opinion about how I spend my money and what I spend my money on. And one thing I would not spend my money on is this foolishness. This woman's son threw 3 rocks through her windshield. Let me tell you what she's doing to herself. She is setting her child up for failure. She is setting her child up for failure. That boy is off. Sometimes, family, sometimes we can't help our children. Sometimes, we just get a dud. Sometimes we get a dud. Sometimes we get a child who has that tick in their head. They got that thing going on where it makes them violent. It makes them sociopathic. And when that happens, you put your life in peril. Let me tell you something. I love my kids, but I'm not going to die I'm not finna let them kill me. I'm not finna die trying to save them. I'm not doing that. That don't make sense. You gotta work on your kids early on. And most of these situations, these kids, when they go crazy and do all this crazy stuff, most of the times it's because of bad parenting. Sometimes the kids they got something in their head going on and it ain't nothing you can do about it. But most of the times it's bad parenting. It's raising a child with no boundaries. It's raising a child with no consequences to their actions. It's raising a child to be self-entitled. When a child can do bad things and you reward bad behavior, there is no incentive for them to change bad behavior. If all they got to do is shout and scream and you give them what they want, if all they got to do is, when you deny them something, is mope, walk around looking sad, and you just give in, you are not helping your child. You are hurting them. Because when you raise a child, you're supposed to raise a child so that that child can someday take care of himself or herself. You got to raise them in a way for situation awareness. That's anything in life that they may come across, everything you can think of. You want to have these different situations so that they can survive these different situations and so that they can thrive in these certain situations. You got to prepare them for living on their own, taking care of themselves, and ultimately their own children, if they're lucky enough to have any. If your child goes to school, cuss out the teacher, kick the principal in the ass, beat up 3 students, shoot the chalkboard, and go home, and you let them go to the party, you are hurting them, not helping them. You cannot reward bad behavior. You got to simulate life, reality. Reality is, if your child gets into a fight at school, there's consequences for those actions. If he cusses out a teacher or any other authority, he put his hands on somebody, there's going to be consequences. The world is not going to respond to your child's transgressions the way you are. So you got to get them in that mode. You got to prepare them for how the world is going to respond. You can't let them steal from you and go unpunished, because they're going to go out there and steal from somebody else and get their head knocked off. Or they're going to end up in the penitentiary. So you got to prepare them for real life. What she's doing, she is fighting to get him back in the home. So she's going to bring him into a home where the other kids got some sense, they're mannerable, they're not tearing stuff up, they're not destructive. She's going to bring him back into the home and allow him to be around these other kids. She's going to allow this dude to come in and be a problem and disrupt her home. What she don't understand is, at any point, he can turn on her to the extent of taking her life. He might decide to take her life. She is at his mercy. She don't know what he's capable of doing. She don't know what he's going to end up doing to her. This boy walked up to her car while she was trying to either pull in or pull out, while she had other small kids in the car, and threw boulder rocks into the windshield. Just stood there like Jason, looked at her, studied the fear in our eyes, and then boom, boom, boom. If he's doing all that now, you think I would take a chance on having a child like that in my house? Anybody like that in my house? Look, man. Hey, look, baby. I know we had different plans for Junior, and Lord knows, I didn't see this coming. And we want the best for him, but we done done all we can do. He can't stay here no more. Well, baby, you can't kick him out. Well, you know what, baby? You can go with him, but I know I ain't finna stay up in here. I'm not finna stay in this house and not knowing I can't go to sleep. I can't just doze off and fall asleep on the sofa without the fear of him walking up to me and just stabbing me in the chest. I can't, go to the bathroom without fear of him setting the whole house on fire. I got to keep an eye on him in the entire time. I got to put up cameras everywhere and monitor it. No, baby, we tried. We tried, and we're not equipped to deal with something like this. We tried, but somehow, some way, the devil got to him. He got a demon spirit in him. Somehow, some way. I don't know if it comes from your side of the family or my side, probably your side. But he got to go. He got to go. He got to go. I cannot allow him to destroy the lives of the other kids. Because remember, when you're dealing with them, you're dealing with him. The other kids are not mature enough to say, I'm not going to do this because it's going to be one more problem for mom or dad, and they got enough with Junior. And so I'm not going to bring my little issues and stuff to the table. No, the other kids are going to still be kids, and they're going to take it further sometime because they're going to say to themselves, well, Junior is always messing up. So my little mess up shouldn't be enough for them to just beat me down or disown me. So with all the stuff Junior done, I ain't done nowhere near the stuff he does. So I'm due a couple of mess ups. I can't take that chance.